All right, heading back to Roseville. Not because I want to, but picked up some things here. The wife gave me a list. We have these little books, sticky notes and little things. And she's got one, I got one. We've been using the daylights out of them. Garbage day tomorrow out here. We don't have anything. We don't even have half a bag of garbage because we haven't even really been here. So heading out, heading back. Like I mentioned in that update video just a few minutes ago, there's a mosquito in here. I'm going to kill it. I'll get him. I'll terminate him. Got a you're shaking there. Don't be shy. It's just a little gravel road. Almost got him. Next weekend, the 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, right? Something like that. Me and Chuck are going to Pittsburgh. We had to go to Pittsburgh. I had to go to pick up the formerly Ed Champagne Anderson Supercart Bodywork molds from Brandon Schenkel, who I guess bought them from Ed when he got out of the fiberglass, go-kart fiberglass stuff. Maybe I can hold this thing. So since I had to go anyway, I figured I'd try and get a go-kart together and turn some laps. I mean, I've run there when it was Beaver Run, right? It was only a mile and a half or 1.6, 1.7, just the original North course. And they've added on. I've been there a couple times, picked up the vintage cart from Brandon, actually, when we first picked it up at Pittsburgh on a visitation type thing. We went last year, me and Chuck went last year, and picked up my new NEK seat. Remember the NEK seat for the sprint cart that we're still putting together? But I wasn't going to be able to get a cart together. I mean, my best chance would have been to do a little work on the Yamadog. You know, we've got the left side, right side fuel tank leak, so we were only running off the right side. With both tanks, we barely made 40 minutes at Gingerman the first time. They still had 1.5 inches of fuel in them, but it started the motor started running out of gas. So we have an issue, fuel tank leak, delivery problem, capacity problem, whatever. I didn't want to just go over there and run around. I guess I could have, you know, I don't know. But with all this shop work going on and what have you, I just don't have the time. I don't have any time at all to do anything with that go-kart, period, to get it ready to go. So I started making some phone calls. I started putting out some feelers, and I sent a text message to Joe Wallace, and Joe watches some of these videos, so I know Randy and Glenda are probably smiling right now. I thought, and this isn't a knock at Joe, because Joe's got probably a bigger belly, kegger than I do, but my rear end's bigger than his. He's a skinny guy with a belly. Whereas I'm just a tree trunk kind of guy with my butt is probably bigger than my gut. So I sent Joe a text thinking he's about one of the only people I know that's got a seat big enough that'll hold me. So I sent him a text and said, hey, do you still have the backup car that the boy used to drive? And he says, as a matter of fact, I do. You know, what's up? And so I told him, hey, I'm coming. I got to go anyway. Kind of would like to drive a cart, but I don't have, you know, the time to get a prep cart. And he obviously, like I said, if he watches the videos, he knows I'm in over my head out here, doing the one-man gang, trying to get all this stuff together. And so he said, yeah, man, you can run this thing. You know, I got a spare cart. It's a CRG with a Pavese and all that. And so we struck a deal, and I'm gonna go. Not just go take it for a ride. I prepaid for all-day practice on Friday, and pre-entered for a race on Saturday. Which you guys that know me know I short of Daytona, I never prepay. I'll pay the extra money just to be sure that I'm not going to have to sit and watch or sit around and be miserable in the rain because it's raining and what have you. So, but I went ahead and did it. I figured, you know what, I'm jumping in. I'm jumping in with both feet. I was super excited about the opportunity. Joe's providing for me, and you know, just talking to him, he's excited about it. Him and Randy, they both know that I'm not a sprint kart guy, a sprint, you know, sit-up guy on a long track. So this should be interesting. I know what my deficiency is already. I've driven a sprint shifter kart at Gingerman in one of those morning practice sessions. You know, it was like, you get 5-6 laps. It was a terrible example of a CIK shifter kart ride because it was an all kart that had glazed brakes, where you'd stand on a brake pedal as hard as you can and it would slow you down, but they wouldn't stop you. So I was obviously afraid to get into a corner with any kind of speed because if something went on and I needed brakes, I wasn't going to have them. So that didn't go real well. I drove around for 5 or 6 laps, you know, and that was fun enough, you know, beating on somebody else's go-kart. But my next sit-up type experience was Frank Dolly. Me and Frank raced together for a long time. He had the RS250 on the MSR, which is the Anderson copy, and he let me take it for a morning practice run on a Sunday morning at Grattan. And that one had brakes, man. I mean, man, does that thing have brakes and power. So, but it got me over the hump. I explained the feeling to Mike Spear when Mike Spear got out of his laydown shifter and the laydown 100cc karts, and he was going to, I think they got a gas and an Anderson, and they went to the 250 class. Him and his dad was the mechanic on that thing. He called me. He actually called me at home and wanted to know what was my experience driving Frank's kart that day. And I explained to him it would probably almost feel like a sprint car on a dirt oval, sliding up the track and hitting the cushion, and the sliding stops, you're hooked up and you go through a corner because of the fact that you could literally feel the axle flexing, the car rolling over, sliding up basically to that cushion, and then stopping, where so the axle would flex, it would lean, and I thought, the first couple laps I thought I'm going to tip over, and when I stayed with it stopped. So running around on that dirt track, hypothetically, finally staying on the gas all the way into and through the corner, it found the cushion. I didn't flip over, I didn't crash, I didn't bounce into a wall, right? And it hooked up and went. And so the next, I think I only had another 2 laps, okay, maybe 4, maybe 5 laps altogether. So the last lap and a half, 2 laps, I could get on it. I had a little confidence in what the go-kart was going to do in a corner. I told Randy on the phone the other day when I called him, Joe's a great guy. He's a nice fella, a kind heart. He was pretty straight with me. He says, he said, what, you know, I thought you just wanted to have fun. I said, I do, because I'm bringing a new set of tires mounted on wheels to go racing, because I'm going to race. And I want to give myself the best chance, the best opportunity, the best ride I can get, right? So I said, he said, what do you expect? And I said, well, I just want to be able, hopefully I'll be able to keep up with him and Randy. Both those guys are sprint kart only guys and shifter guys for the past dozen years or so, I'm guessing. So they're going to have a lot better feel for it than me, right? The chassis and cornering and all that stuff. But I've watched those guys race, and I'm not criticizing, but they don't use the tires as brakes like the skinny, young, crazy kids in this class do. I used to be able to drive like that at the indoor place. And that's only a 35, 40 mile an hour go-kart. But you literally could drive around with your foot a foot off the floor tray, showing people I'm not touching any brakes, and never let off the gas. Just throw the car into a corner and use the tires to get you around the corner. So if I can overcome that, if I can get past that, like I did with the cushion of the axle flexing on that 250, I think I'll be okay. And you know, I've got one of these karts, and I intend to play with it, get comfortable in it, and G125 race it. So this would just be extra classroom time for me, and I'm glad that I know a guy like Joe who was willing to let me do it. It's a quality kart, quality ride. The engine isn't the newest or greatest, but let's be honest, engine, I mean, when you get right down to tenths, half a second, tenths of a second on a road racing track, maybe the motor makes a difference for those crazy 20-year-old young guys who use the tires for brakes. But for the rest of us, it's all chassis. The engine isn't going to make that much of a difference. With that said, Randy's on an older chassis, and him and Joe are competitive, regardless of what engine, who's got a new engine, who has an old engine, whatever. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend, and that's going to cut short the work out at the China shop. Today's Sunday. I'm going back tomorrow to get that bit that I showed you at the end of the video, trimming up that 4 7/8 tall, 8-foot long pieces of foam to glue to the tin on the garage, because that liquid nail stuff, it has to cure. So Tuesday I'll be gathering, Wednesday I'll be packing, Thursday we're heading over to Pittsburgh. Thanks Randy for the heads up on the first come Pitt access. So the sooner we get there, the further up the line we are, better our chance of getting close to, if not right with, Joe and Elizabeth, Randy and Glenda and Paul, if he's coming, Bob Davies, their other buddy, if he comes as well or gets there in time. If not, you know, we'll make the best of it, but I'm pretty sure the way we got things planned out, we're going to get there in time to be close. You know, it's Joe's kart, so any issues I have, I'm not going to go tuning on that kart. He's going to do it. If he says it's fine, then I'll just run it the way, you know, however it is, whatever. You know, so super excited. He says that when he was a big fella, I'm not going to tell you the weight, a bit more than I am now. You know, a bit more, a couple handfuls more. He fit in that cart, the seat of that cart, just fine. So I should be okay. Just excited about getting there, spending time with friends, de-stressing from the world that we're living in, the stress of moving all this stuff. Me and Sherry pretty much single-handedly on our own handling all this stuff. Got him. I just terminated him. He's now a blood spot on the windshield. He's on my pinky. The old pinky shot got him. So that's it. That's the big news. RPM is going CIK G125 sprint kart racing at Pittsburgh, and we're pretty fired up about it. We're pretty excited about it. So yeah, bring your cameras. Yeah, you're gonna want to document this. I know I'm going to. But the window's fogging up. I got to get the defroster on. Godspeed, God bless. Hang in there, y'all. We'll bring you video next weekend from Pittsburgh. Hang in there, y'all. It'll get better. I'm smiling. It's getting better already. Thanks, Joe. Take it easy, Glenda. See you guys.